Hello children, today I have taken very important lines of Morocco from Act 2 Scene 1. So you can see here Scene 1, Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Enter the Prince of Morocco and his train, Portia, Nerissa and other of her attendants. So this is very important and question can be asked that where does the scene take place, who all are there in the scene. Now you see the lines. Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and near bred. Morocco says, don't hold my skin color against me. I was born and raised in the sun, which is why I am dark skinned. What he says, do not dislike me for my dark complexion. It is the dark colored dress given to me by the glowing sun, whose near neighbor I am and a close relative. So, why he calls himself neighbor? Because he lives in a hot country. The hot countries near the equator are nearer to the sun. Hence, the speaker is the neighbor. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus' fire scarce thaws the icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. So he says, bring me the fairest man born in the north, where the heat of the sun can hardly melt the ice. Let us make a cut upon our bodies so that we compare our bloods and see whose blood is more red, to prove our love for you. So what he says that I will win your love by cutting myself to prove to you I have redder blood than he does. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant, but my love, I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. So he says that my skin color has made brave men fear me, and Moroccan girls love me. The young ladies in my country have loved me for my dark complexion. I would not change this hue except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. I would not change it except to make you think of me, my darling queen. So what he says that he would not change his dark skin for anything in the world except to win Portia's love. Next passage, lines of Portia. In terms of choice, I am not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eye. Besides, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. So she says, beside good looking is not the only way to my heart. You know, I have other criteria for choosing a husband. In the matter of choosing my husband, I am not merely influenced by what appeals to a maiden's eye. Besides, the lottery of the caskets prevents me from using my right to make a free choice. But if my father had not scanted me and begged me by his wit to yield myself his wife, who wins me by that means, I told you, your self-renowned prince, then stood as fair as any comer I have looked on yet for my affection. She says, but if my father had not taken away this right and restrained me by this decision to give myself as a wife to the person who wins me by the lottery of the casket, about which you have been told, you would have had an equal chance among the men I have so far seen. She wants to say that you would have had a good chance to marry me as any of the suitors I have met so far, Prince.